Hey, welcome guys to another little tutorial. Now, in today's tutorial, we are finally not going to have these pre-instantiated buttons that are allowing us to select what weapon we have and things of that nature. We are going to have procedural stuff. So when it gets instantiated, it does what it needs to do. Plus, the greatest thing about it also is it's very easy to change up what slot it goes to and things, because all you have to do now is switch this tiny variable right here. Give it a different button. That's it. That's all you need to do, because our button has a script that pushes prefabs and things like that all into it. Now, you're probably thinking, well, how's the button being set up? Well, the button is procedurally being set up by our bag script. We can put all our elements in here as we want. We can go up to, 100 or whatever, or put 10, and then we just fill in what we need. We want an M4, and so on and so forth. It's not that bad at all. Okay? And all we have to do, hey, if we want the player to own it, all we have to do is fill in own. And it will instantiate. If we don't own anything, then it doesn't do anything. It just goes do. Don't have anything. We don't have any inventory. Then we'll have to find us a way to pick it up. Now, pickups are going to be a different video and things, but they're going to be very easy and very similar to work with. Now, you're probably seeing this M4 scriptable object. Well, it's actually really simple class for us, and we're going to go over it. But before we do that and everything, we have to go over our menu script. Okay? Now, our menu script is not that bad. It's not that too heavy. We've got our inventory array, okay, and our parent transform. This is the transform that we're pairing all our buttons to. I did it on enable. We have no update, so this can go bye-bye. On enable gets called every single time that game object gets enabled. Okay? Now I have this private update UI with a for loop, and it goes through inventory.own equals true. And all this is this class right here. I put it at the bottom of this because it's relevant to our thing, and it's a pure class. We don't have to attach it to a script or anything like that. Nothing crazy. So it has to be system.serializable so we can see it in the inspector. Okay, and it'll go bool, in-game, false. And then this is a scriptable object, which we will go over in a little bit. A game object. This is our button prefab. What button will this be instantiated with? Now, if you're in our system that you've been paying attention with our FPS, our button defines what slot it goes to. Now, right now we only got one, but it's very easily to take it out to 30 or 40 or however many you want. But I did it this way for one specific reason. If I want to change it from, let's see, our M16 from weapon slot 3 to weapon slot 2, all I have to do is change this button prefab. That's it. Everything else gets taken care of for me. Now, so unowned is just to destroy the button and all that good stuff. Which this function right here, if you don't have it, don't worry about it, because it's going to be changing pretty soon anyway. So are these. So these are not relevant whatsoever. Okay? This is relevant. All this does, and this is very important too. I don't think this actually does anything. Button parent. we give it a transform, and we're just clearing the local rotation, all that stuff, and the scale. Now, a lot of times when you parent something from an instantiation into the UI system, the scale gets messed up. So I just do local scale vector3.1. Don't do like I did the first time, do vector3.0, and then you go, hey, what's going on? All, because I put vector3.0, so you'll never see it because it's basically so super small that it's just useless. Okay, identity is just 111, you know, zero rotation and stuff. Vector3.0 for the position and the parenting. Now, in the later view, the later instantiations in Unity now, you can parent right off the instantiation. Okay, they've got a variable where you can parent it right to it. But if you got an older system, maybe, you know, from 5.5 or below, you don't have that option, which kind of sucks, but, you know, you'll use this. And besides, even if you parent, you may still have to use this function anyway because the scaling and stuff. So it's not like it's a useless step. So since we went over that class, we're iterating through in the entire inventory. Every time we do an update, we just go through every item that we could possibly have and go, hey, do we own it? Yes. Is it in game? Yes or no. If it's in game, then we don't do anything. We don't, you know, it's already been instantiated. So it just goes to the next one. Hey, in the next one, do we own it? Yes. Is it in game? No. Then it instantiates a button prefab. Okay? It gets a component, which is a terrible name right here. I don't know what I was thinking. It's like item A. It's probably supposed to have a B on it. But I'm not going to change it. Just no matter what I think of, it's probably going to sound terrible. I'll find a name for it sometime. But we get that component. And if you notice in all of our buttons, we don't really care about this other stuff. We don't care about this name or anything else. We just care about this interface. Because this interface does one job right here. And all this does is set up everything from our scriptable object to here. Okay? The prefab that I'm just going to say the prefab for the world view. Okay. Normal. The normal icon for the buttons okay, then this is to set up the button icon because the image is still default That's not how you spell default. I'm not going to worry about it. Default. And just copy this because I'm lazy sometimes. The normal, the highlight, okay, and then the buttons text, the words, man, the words, okay, and it all comes from a scriptable object. Now, if you're thinking about this, it's just a text thing. That's all it is. You drag text into a variable in the inspector, and then it does its job. That's all it needs to do. Okay? It's very, 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 very simple. Okay? And we only have this in the interface right here. This is the interface. Now, the reason why I did this is simple. I wanted to add on to what we already had, but without breaking what we already had, if that makes sense. See, if I start changing a bunch of code, then I have to go through the whole thing again, and a lot of this doesn't have to change whatsoever. We just need to add something into it. See, the button script itself does one thing. It instantiates a weapon, okay, when it needs to, and then it tracks the weapon, you know, hey, is it spawn and stuff, and does the highlight effect. It doesn't care about how it's being set up. So we tack on another function that does all the setup for us. So we run this single function, it does all the entire setup. Okay? And that's the whole concept of it. This inventory thing, its design is, here is the entire array of every weapon. Okay? On enable, we instantiate all the buttons that we could possibly need. Because even if we just pick up a weapon, we have to equip it. So you have to open up the menu and go, hey, click this. And now you have it equipped. But you're also going to be destroying one of your old weapons. Okay? So all this stuff gets filled in. Weapons, inventory, this is the function that you're calling from the button. Because you're doing get component item, item.item, inventory, the array index of it, and then you hit item. That's it. Item, which in our class is this scriptable object here, which we'll go over in a minute. So in-game gets turned to true because it is in-game. And now we have the button prefab, a reference to the transform. Okay? Now you're probably like, why do we need this? It's because later on we might need to destroy it. But right now, what we need to do before we do anything is this parenting job right here. This all has to do this stuff. Okay? It definitely does. Well, here's the class for the equipment. Owned, in-game, the scriptable object, game object, the prefab for the button, which we can change to anything that we want, and then the drop. Okay? These functions are not done yet, so you don't have to worry. But here's the scriptable object. We do a regular prefab, what weapon we're going to be using. The whole weapon thing. Okay, the normal sprite and the highlight and the button text. And you're probably thinking, well, why don't we just use this by default from the button itself? It's because if I start changing this and everything else, this stuff right here, let's say get out of here. Okay, it doesn't, I would have to change up my script and break a lot of things because I have to go through all the functions and everything else. And there's really not too much of a benefit for it because all of it is a reference anyway. Okay, it's reference to a prefab. This is nothing internally in memory. It just points to something. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There'll be overhead and things a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what you're probably thinking. It's nothing. You can reference the same game object 100 times in 100 different scripts, and the reference itself isn't really going to hurt you. It's going to be the other operations that you're trying to do with the reference. Okay, if that makes sense. Now this is just pointing at what's already in the engine. This will be cheap. Okay, this is cheap. But, and here's another thing, is if I reference the scriptable object in here, then it has the problem with, hey, I've got these so many things that I have to do a bunch of dances and everything. And that's not really cool. I just need this to call in and throw this in here. If I want to take the inventory stuff out of it, all I have to do is delete this function right here. Okay? And it's not going to break all this other stuff. If I get rid of the interface and the scriptable object that's being called, it's not going to break this thing really, really hard. That's the whole point of it. You want to write code that is designed where it's not going to break a whole bunch of stuff. If I took this inventory system and just jerked it completely out of the project, I have very, very minimal impact. I'll be able to recover and recompile in like no time. Where if I start changing all this up and then referencing a scriptable object, then it just goes ape crazy on me, right? Because I've got all these references to it. So it becomes very tedious right off the bat. So I would highly recommend, if you can get away from certain things like that, just do it. It's nothing to pull up a little variable and go, hey, there you go. Alright. And that is pretty much it, guys. I'm serious. It's that easy. This instantiates your buttons for you. And, you know, it fills it in. And like I said, it's very... You could easily pull it out or put it into your system in a matter of minutes. Okay? Now, I don't have destruction of buttons or anything like that. But if you just want to get items in your game where it fills it into it and it's there, then this will work for you bottoms down. Okay? I will be working on this later on and expanding on it and changing it. That's the reason why I got this function right here. I'm going to have to do some other stuff. Okay? So it's not that big of a deal. But like I said, this is a very, very simple, and we're going to be working with more stuff like this. Okay? So I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and appreciate, you know, your likes, your shares, and all that good stuff. Now, I know videos don't come out as often as you guys probably would like, but there's a lot of topics that I want to hit that are incredibly long when it comes to videos. And, you know, my channel isn't very big, or, you know, it just comes down to what it is or what it's not. Alright, so hopefully this helps you out in creating something. I know this is going to be another part of this, and I'll probably think of how to do the other part of it, but there's like splitting and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm probably not going to do an item.split or stackables, because it's just pointless for me for an FPS. Doesn't sound like something that I need to do, unless it's for something else. okay, like ammunition or something, but I don't see you stacking certain things. So, that's, but a flapjack just buttons that do stuff. There you go. It's done and over with. So peace. Hope you liked the video. If you like, like. If you don't, then there's the dislike button. But take care, everybody, and goodbye.